It's okay, it takes time. I know.
Welcome back to Strong. I am so excited to be introducing you to another incredible guest. Today, we are zooming around the world and we're meeting with Neelam, who is currently based in Delhi, India. Welcome, Neelam. It's so great to have you with me today.
Nice to have a meeting with you.
I'm so excited to be able to share your life journey with our audience here at Hashtag Strong. I almost feel like I'm a student in your classroom today because I'm just so humbled by your experience and your wisdom. So for anyone watching, I'm going to be referring to Neelam as Auntie, and not because we're related, but it's a form of respect. So without further ado, let's talk about your life journey. Auntie, take me back to the earlier days. If you can take us back down memory lane on some of those things that you experienced as a young teenager yourself.
I was teenager in India. That time I was not married, and it was a very nice. My life was very good. In the morning, I get up early morning, and I do yoga. I do exercise, and so many other therapies related to yoga. And after that, I went with my father walking. So that takes at least 1 hour. And after that, I go to Bangla Sahib, which is a holy place. I do prayer there, and after that, I went to my office.
When you're thinking back to those younger years, what year are you thinking to? So just to put it into context, what year are we thinking?
1970.
So in that time, was that customary? Was that what everybody did in India when you were younger, that they would go for walks and do yoga and then carry
Yes.
on with their day? Was that a customary thing?
So many people are doing all this. And after learning yoga, I teach yoga also in the morning hours. There is one person, very famous person, name is Dharendra Yogi. I was doing yoga there, and after that, I was teaching the yoga there.
And I'm imagining that yoga wasn't, I mean, yoga, I'm imagining today this concept of yoga. Was it the same as the yoga you would have learned in the 1970s, or was it different?
No, it is more or less the same, and the exercise therapies are little harder, which we can't do it now because we are quite old. And that nasal therapy, it was very interesting. We will not catch any cold cough or any disease like I was very healthy.
Auntie, what was it like to be a young teenager in the 70s, a young female teenager in the 70s in India?
In India, age at 17 is very good, very lovely, if you feel so. If you are not giving importance to yourself, then there is nothing. But a person who give importance to ourselves, that will be very good life in India.
And where on that journey, kind of let's fast forward a little bit. So you went from being a young teenager, taking walks with her father, going off to the office, doing yoga. And then where on the journey of your life did you begin your own family? Did you get married and then start to have your own children?
See, in 1975, I got married, and there is a very famous hotel named Lodi. Now his name of that hotel is Aman. And another hotel was Oberoi. And the boy, they stays in Oberoi, we stays in Lodi, Aman. We stays in Aman. So it was very interesting. Marriage was very nice. And after that, I went to Kuwait.
So you moved from India and you moved to Kuwait. How were you? How old were you, Auntie, when this began to happen?
I was only 19.
19 years old. Were you the first
Yeah.
child in your family to move away from your home in India and move to Kuwait?
I'm the sixth child in our home.
Okay, and were you the first child to leave India, or were all of your brothers and sisters leaving India at that time?
No, all were in India except me.
Okay, so you moved away and you moved to Kuwait. What was life like for you as a 19-year-old young bride on her way to Kuwait?
See, when I went to Kuwait, uh, sorry to say that I was getting bored a lot. So I start thinking of doing the helping children, handicapped children, that was my goal. And in the morning, from morning 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock, I was helping handicapped children, those who are in Hawali area in Kuwait.
Why did you decide that those were the children that you wanted to help? What made you choose that type of work?
Actually, I want to kill the time very nicely with a happily. And when I was helping them, I got very good intuition and enjoyment of myself, I can say.
And then tell us about when you decided to start having your own children, what life became for you living away from your family in India when you were in Kuwait.
When I was Kuwait, one thing was very good. Telephone was there. We can talk every evening. My in-laws was never object to that. I used to talk to them a lot. And second, then my another kid, first kid born, in 1976. So half of the time I was busy with handicapped children plus with my daughter. So I was not getting bored. In my life, there is no word getting bored. You say, I never feel I am bored.
So I want to kind of go backward to that time, what society was like for women at that time. I remember reading about how women in the 70s were mostly taking care of their families at home. That was predominantly the norm for women. How did it feel for you to be working and raising children? Was that common in Kuwait with women, or was that something unusual?
No, in Kuwait actually is very interesting place. You can do morning shopping for your child and look after the child and give them a nice dressing and in the day 2 or 3 times I have to decorate my daughter a lot. I am bringing very pretty dresses for her. I kill time by giving her milk and teaching her a good thing. So in that way, I enjoyed a lot.
And did you have lots of other friends, women friends, who were also working just like you?
No, like me, I have a friends. They also married and they are also having a good life. So I don't miss that.
And were you the only woman in your community as a working mother, or were there other working mothers?
Actually, after marriage, I was not working. I was just helping my husband in the business. All the time, my main aim is for social gatherings and look after my own daughters.
Amazing. Auntie, let's talk about family. This season in Hashtag Strong, we're putting a big focus on what does family mean for people from around the world. When you hear the word family, what do you think about? What comes to your mind?
See, family words is not a small word. family adjustment is a very big adjustment, and one side is adjustment, other side is very happy life. You can get good ideas from others. You stay jointly, and your in-laws are also good. So naturally, you get so many good ideas. My sister-in-law was good. My mother-in-law was nice. My father-in-law was very nice. So I feel the family life is very good.
What do you tell your children today when they're having issues either at work or thinking about life and trying to take care of their own children? What kind of advice do you give to your children based on your life experience?
See, if my children are getting disturbance from their family life, that is very common. They have to adjust it in a very happily way, you know. It is not so tough. Sometimes we feel it is very tough, but it is not tough. It's a matter of time.
What we're facing today with young people is a rise in mental health issues. We see young people feeling very stressed about school and their lives and their future. We see families very worried about raising their teenagers. As a mother who's also raised four of her own children, and you've gone through those years of teenagehood, you didn't live at home in India. You were away from India raising your children in Kuwait. What kind of advice do you give to mothers and fathers watching this now about helping them help their
One
teenagers?
thing, the woman should be very powerful, one thing. And second thing, she should be very easygoing lady. Everything should not be very tough. Everything is not tough. Actually, is up to us how we feel it. We should not feel the life is tough. We should be very normal with the life, and giving them a help to the kids. Very good. I always help the children in their social life and how to bring about their children. I advise my children in a very nice way.
What were some of the challenges that you faced raising teenagers when you were raising your teenagers?
Actually, I always feel my children are all my friends. I never feel they are my children. I should not uh, scold them. I should not say hard word to them. I never say any wrong wording. If they by chance, by mistake, they say wrong wording to me, I solve the problem in a very nice way. So I never feel the children's life is tough. I always enjoy their life.
So, one of the common challenges that we see with mothers today is they don't really understand how to help their children. I know that you said that when you were raising your children, you were raising them also as friends. How do you understand the line between being a mother and doing what they need for you to do to make sure that they're able to grow up in the best of their ability, but at the same time also, as you said, being friends with their children? I think there's a fine line. How do you know when you're not crossing the line?
See, uh, actually, nowadays parents are very hard facing with their children because the exposure is too much. Internet has so many exposures with the children, and that's why children have so many questions, and they are very smart. But now the parents are also very educated, and they know how to deal with their own family.
So, what would you say to a mother who might be struggling with helping her child maintain their culture, but at the same time being able to achieve the opportunities that the world can offer their children?
Nowadays the parents has to teach their children in a very nice way, and very bravely they will do it, because the too much internet and technology is there. For that way, nowadays the parents are getting little hard.
Auntie, what would you say back in the time when you were raising your children? What was the most concerning part of being a mother with four children? Because they each have their own personality. We can try and raise our children as equally as possible, but there will always be difference, won't there? Because each child has their own personality. What would you say was the biggest challenge that you had, and how did you overcome the challenge of raising four children?
See, you are 100% right. All four children has a different this thing.
How does a mother manage to be fair, but also appreciate the differences in each child?
See, actually, you are very much okay. You are saying the children's this thing. We have to appreciate our children a lot, and all four children has a different ideas, different views, and different talks, and we have to manage it in a very right way.
You know, Auntie, I think sometimes mothers, and I include myself in this statement, I think sometimes mothers, we try to do it all perfect. We try to make sure that we can give everything to our children. And sometimes we think we want to give them opportunities that we didn't have growing up. But somewhere along the way, we I don't know. I think somewhere along the way, as mothers, we lose our identity. How did you manage to take care of Neelam, be a great mother, and
Those
also,
who are our helpers, we have to train them in a way so that they can help you half of the time. You know, you can't do all 24 hours duty alone without a helper. I was very lucky. I always have a good helper. So that helpers help me for unknowledgeable things to children, and the educated side I look after. So in that way, the life was very good.
so what I'm hearing you say is mothers should reach out for help. They shouldn't force themselves to do everything all by themselves.
Yes.
And I think that's such an important thing to remember because mothers, I think we take pride in being able to do it all ourselves, don't we? We want to be, I think that's where the term superwoman came from. We want to be able to do everything and be everything.
Yes.
Neelam, would you say that the biggest challenge for a mother is to accept the help, or would you say that that really isn't the biggest challenge? There are other bigger challenges.
No, there is no challenge like that. See, it is very understanding of life. If you understand your life very easy, your life goes easy. If you feel it is very hard, and then no one can stop it. It is hard, mean hard, but I always take the life very easy.
And so I'm hearing you say it's about our perception of what we see. So if we see life as hard, then it will be hard. If we see that life is not hard and we appreciate the moments, then we'll be able to enjoy those moments.
Yes, we enjoy the moment. And see, we are very lucky. We are beautiful. We got, God has given us a good money, and not only the beauty. The God has given us a very beautiful face and the life. We should appreciate that. And
Auntie,
all these things, if you appreciate this, and you love yourself. When you love yourself, you do everything with a lovely manner.
so I'm hearing you say we need to appreciate these blessings that we have, whether it be money or beauty or health. We should stop to appreciate these things. Auntie, what would you
Yes.
say to a young mother right now who's watching this and thinking, I'm really struggling to raise my teenager. Whatever I do, whatever I say, they're just not happy and I don't know how to help my teenager. How would you respond
See,
to that?
see one thing, you ignore their faults. And as if you haven't seen that and you never feel it, you ignore their faults. And second thing, wherever they are wrong, with a lovely manner, with a pretty way, you just solve that problem.
That's really interesting. That takes a lot of I almost imagine a mother, in order to achieve that, Neelam, that a mother has to remove her ego from her role as mother. Would you say that is the case?
See? Yes.
That's hard though, wouldn't I mean, take us back to, I mean, I want you to imagine, Auntie, you were there, you had 4 children. Yes, you had help, but still at the end of the day, 4 children, each with different responsibilities, each with different personalities. A mother is being torn into all these different places and parts of working and taking care of her children and making sure that the household is thriving. It takes a lot out of a woman to do all those different things. How does one remove their ego and remember to stay calm and ignore the faults of their children and just try to focus on appreciating?
See, there is two way. One way you feel how to good to the children, and other way is very hard way, uh, which will not click with the children.
Who taught you how to do all these things? Auntie, who was your role model?
My mother is my good teacher. She always teach us a good lesson, and always she taught me a good way. And she don't have any enemy. She don't have any bad behavior with anyone. Even her own daughter-in-laws are appreciating her. So few things I learned from my mother.
As you're describing being a mom and the role of a mother, you make it sound so seamless. You make it sound so easy. Was it always this easy for you?
For me, everything is easy.
Tell us what that means. Everything is easy.
Easy, I never take anything tough. If anything I feel tough, it will become more tough. So better I ignore them for a time being and I solve the problem. And if it is not solving, I remember the God. God helped me in that way.
Auntie, I want to take you back to the first practice you told us about. You said that when you were younger, you used to go for walks with your father and you did yoga practice. Would you say that those were the 2 things that taught you the skills that you have today, that calm starting of the day of taking those walks and having your thoughts and then practicing with yoga?
Yes.
Just before we say goodbye, if there was one last message that you could leave young people with, what would it be?
Respect elders. Respect our parents, mother, father. They will learn more. If they are in their ego or they will not respect their parents, they will not go anywhere. Their life will be worse. because they don't know how to respect the elder views, elder ideas, and adjustments, and so many other things which elder people can do easily. I never give back reply to any elder in my family. Even I like it or I didn't like it, that is up to different thing. But I never give back reply.
That's an incredible message. So, what I heard you say today to mothers and to parents is to appreciate their children and to overlook their faults and to help them to do well in their lives by supporting them through those challenges. And then I heard you say to children that they should also respect their elders and to just learn to listen to them regardless of whether we agree or not to speak back to them. It almost sounds like your really empowering message to both mothers, fathers, and children is to appreciate each other and to really listen to each other.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Auntie. It has been so much fun talking to you. I've really, really enjoyed this time listening to your stories. I believe there's a lot of wisdom in the stories that are told by elders and parents and family. And I hope that you felt very comfortable in telling your story to us here today.
See, my advice to the young children nowadays, they should not be hot soon. They should understand the thing and then they take the action. It is very important of that.
Very, very, very important message. How can they practice doing that? Because I think the world today is about reacting. Most people just tend to react. They don't really reflect. They're not critically reflecting on themselves. They're listening and they're just reacting. How do you believe they should be practicing the skill of not reacting?
By speaking less and listening more.
You make it sound so easy. You make it sound so easy. The messages that you're telling, I know we've heard again and again, but I imagine that you've seen them work in your life and in your journey. What do you think is the biggest mistake that elders are making with their younger children today?
They should understand their own children.
How?
They
How
should
do they?
understand that they listen to children also. Sometimes children are also right. Sometimes the elders' views are not so perfect because they are moving outside, they are moving with the English society, they are educated by the books. So we must listen to the children also.
I love it. Thank you so much, Auntie. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for taking the time. I know that you have family around you, and I'm just so humbled and thankful that you were able to share small moments of your experience and lots of wisdom for our audience members.
Thanks a lot. You have given a time.
No, it's me who thanks you. Thank you. Thank you. That brings us to the end of another incredible conversation. Today, we zoomed around the world and we went to Delhi in India to speak to Neelam. We learned about her life journey, being a young woman in India who traveled to Kuwait to raise her 4 children. And here she is today, sharing her wisdom of motherhood, womanhood, and as a member of our world. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next week where we bring another incredible guest to Strong.
Thank you.